You're listening to
Wrestling to the Max.
Alert, clear all channels.
This is an exclusive.
How you like that?
And your host, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hello and welcome to another Wrestling Max Extra. I'm so sorry that intro was way longer than it's supposed to be. But yeah, I was having problems with my computer not wanting to actually let me post the stuff to the group, telling everybody that I was doing this right now. I'm trying to hurry up and do this before I go to work in about 20 minutes. So this might be a faster version of this than we normally do this, but it should still be a good one on what was actually a really good night of wrestling and just enjoyment for the G1 Climax on a, what does it say, a Tuesday morning, or well, now it's Tuesday afternoon I'm doing this, but the show took place here in America on Tuesday morning. The big announcement from before the show started was that Shinsuke Nakamura would be off this show, so we did not get Michael Elgin versus Mr. Nakamura. That match would have to be forfeited by Nakamura, so Michael Elgin got his first 2 points of the tournament by forfeit. I mean, I'm sure that's not the way he wanted his first 2 points to go, but hey, he technically gets a win on the score sheet against Nakamura, so I don't know that you can really complain too much about that, honestly. Speaking of bruises, Toru Yano's, busted up a little bit. He's got a black eye now, along with that bandage from the big gash he received from the headbutt from Tenzan. Tenzan had a big bandage over his eye as well, so it certainly is. They're starting to feel it already. Naito has both of his knees taped up. Goto has tapes on his ribs already. Ishii is once again kind of getting the tape on his shoulder. Even Yohei Komatsu's got tape on his shoulder. He's feeling it from this show too. It's certainly a different affair going on here for them, having the new format. You'd think that it would have made the injuries a lot less frequent, but we're already getting 2 big ones with Nakamura being out and everything, so hopefully Nakamura is not out for the whole tournament, because that really changes everything for Geto, who has this stuff kind of planned out at least a month ahead, if not more. So, this is going to be something that's going to be wait and see when we get to not tomorrow. They are going to have a show tomorrow for A Block, but now the B Block doesn't have to wrestle again until Saturday night for them. So it'll be certainly interesting to see how this progresses with Nakamura, and if it's going to be something that's going to affect the whole tournament, because if he's out, you're talking about the favorite going out, and then Geto's going to have to scramble to change everything probably, at least for that Block B. So, and perhaps it could change who wins out in Block A too, depending, maybe Okada actually wins as champion or something, instead of Nakamura winning, or perhaps now, Tanahashi would win, or maybe you'll get Ibushi getting the win or something. Who knows? Who knows? This is going to be interesting to see. I really hope for Nakamura's sake that he's not out, because he still never got to give us a great match from this tournament. So I'd really like to see if, he finally gets to do that on the next match that he wrestles or whatever. But let's get into this card. This was another show where there was no commentary, no dub music. It was all the multiple camera setups were there inside the Beppu Beacon Plaza from Beppu, Japan. The first match saw Captain New Japan, Tiger Mask, and Jushin Liger against David Finlay Jr., Jay White, and Ryusuke Taguchi. This is where we saw the first change from Nakamura being out, as Taguchi was supposed to be in the final six-man that we see in the night where Michael Elgin is, and this is supposed to be, I think, someone else in this spot. I can't remember right this second. Let me look at the old card to see who was supposed to be on this. This was actually supposed to be it's supposed to be just a tag match with Tiger Mask and Jushin Liger against Taguchi and David Finlay, and then it was changed to Jay White because Taguchi was added on. He was still in this match, but Jay White was added on, and so was Captain New Japan to kind of even stuff out, as Captain New Japan was supposed to be in the six-man instead of Michael Elgin. So this match was entertaining for the fact that you got Captain New Japan not getting tagged in by Liger and Tiger Mask, because they pretty much know he's a loser, and they don't want to tag him in because they know he's gonna miss stuff when he tags in. We did get a lot of ass offense from Taguchi. We got some uppercuts from Finlay Jr. Jay White got to do his drop kick. The funny stuff again is Captain New Japan eventually does get tagged in, and then when he misses his stuff, Liger gets right in his face and gets pissed off. You don't understand the language, but you can totally tell, even though Liger's under a mask, that he is upset. Eventually, the palm strike in the corner and a tiger driver from Tiger Mask on Jay White. This has kind of been his little feud with Jay White going through this tournament. Would get the win. It wasn't anything special. We did get some tag moves and stuff, but you'll be fine if you miss this. Match number 2 was Cody Hall and Doc Gallows from Bullet Club against Toru Yano and Yoshihashi. We get Toru Yano. This is where you see his big black eye, and he has a clear bandage on top of his big bandage because they want to make sure that the big bandage doesn't come off or anything like that. Toru Yano doesn't really get a lot to do in this match. He does get a funny spot where he grabs Gallows' ears after he keeps doing the Yano taunt, and he catches Gallows about 2 times trying to get him from behind, and then he ducks under and grabs Gallows' ears for a funny little spot there. Yoshihashi was the one involved in a lot of this. Cody Hall and Gallows beat him up on the outside, then they kind of beat him up with double team moves. You got a double big boot going on. Yoshihashi eventually gets the win, though, with a neckbreaker and lariat on Hall, and then immediately he goes up for the swanton. This is your definition of when somebody says that match was fine. That's your definition of fine in the dictionary would go right here, honestly. So whenever you hear someone say fine, that match was fine. That's pretty much what this match was. So the third match is Katsuyori Shibata, Yohei Komatsu, and your NWA World Champion Hiroshi Tenzan against Kota Ibushi. It's Shibata and Ibushi in one of the main events for tomorrow. And then you're going to get a slugfest between Tenzan and Togi Makabe, who are on the opposite sides from this match. And Masako Dorada is also on the side of Ibushi and Makabe. This one was really fun. If you like watching Yohei Komatsu and Dorada go at it, because that's a lot of what this was. You do get a nice little standoff between Makabe and Tenzan kind of early. Shibata and Ibushi would exchange holds, and then when Shibata's in there with Dorada, Shibata does what's kind of been typical for him in these tag matches. He just knocks his opponent off the apron. He just boots Ibushi into the barricade. As you know, Ibushi doesn't know that Shibata's about to just whack him. Yohei Komatsu, I mean, really, Komatsu is just ready to be done with this young lion thing. I think, if anything, I hope pretty soon, if not by the time we get around to next Wrestle Kingdom, we're talking about Komatsu being done with this thing here, because really he's past us at this point. So we have after this, I mean, we get to see Dorada kind of do a few moves we don't get to see him do a lot. He does the rope walk drop kick. He does a rope walk senton, which is pretty cool because he actually walks the ropes. He doesn't do the spin thing in the corner. He actually walks them, which is a nice little tease there. And then he does a German suplex and a top rope DDT. And not I'm talking about a tornado DDT. He actually jumps and grabs Komatsu on the way down for a DDT, which is actually pretty cool. Yohei got a superplex as well in here. Tenzan and Makabe have the exchange of having Makabe do one power slam to Tenzan as they come in to try to break up something. Ibushi kicks Shibata outside and then does the springboard moonsault. That's the extent of all Ibushi does in this match. And then Dorada hits the Dorada screwdriver for the win. It's pretty good. Nothing, like I said, you get nothing out of the exchanges that would build up to the next match. So really, I think pretty much you can skip this. The one tag match you should probably go out of your way to see: Hiroshi Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, and Michael Elgin against Bad Luck Fale, AJ Styles, and Tama Tonga, the Bullet Club. AJ doesn't really do a lot in this match. Fale, I think, gets like one move in here. It's all Tama Tonga, honestly. Hiroshi Tanahashi is the guy facing peril, as he's pretty much the only guy people are going to respond to, as Naito's doing the heel stick. And he does that here as Tanahashi, I think, does like a senton. He does a few moves, and he's ready to tag in Naito. Naito doesn't. He actually gets tagged in really hard because, they just had a match the previous night or whatever. So Tanahashi's like, okay, get in here. You're not going to do this crap to me. And he even, motions, hey, I made the tag. Let's go. So Naito gets in. He eye rakes AJ because AJ's kind of like, okay, dude, I'm done with this. And we are going to get AJ and Naito as well on the next night. So 3 big matches already. This is going to be fantastic stuff, I think. So we do get AJ kind of doing a few. Like I say, he doesn't do a lot. It's a lot of them kind of interchanging, working over Tanahashi. The crowd was kind of mild on this show. That's one thing I think I forgot to write in my review that I posted. The crowd was really just kind of up and down. They really didn't get into a whole lot. So I don't know if it's the production thing missing there or whatever, but it just didn't feel like they were into too much here in Beppu. The best part is Naito's heel stuff here. That's what you kind of need to pay attention for, because eventually Naito just comes in. I should note that Michael Elgin really only gets to do one spot. He does his stalling suplex, and there's a funny moment where AJ has to call in Fale to bring him down because Tonga's not able to kick him off. And I think Elgin also does the fall away slam to AJ. I can't quite remember exactly what happens here. But like I was saying, Naito's stuff here is funny because he kind of is not there for most of the match. He gets tagged in at the last by Tanahashi, and then it's just like, bam, he takes out everybody. Just straight through. And we get the backflip neck breaker, the modified sliced bread number 2 standing by Naito, and he wins. And he just pushes the referee over at the end, and he's like, I'm having none of this holding up my hand with Tanahashi crap. And he puts his hat in the camera as he walks by and says, I'm ingobernable, ingobernable. Why am I saying this wrong? I know how to speak Spanish. Ingobernable. Yeah. So, or ingobernable, excuse me. Ingobernable. Why am I saying that wrong again? So let's get to the G1 matches here. Yujiro Takahashi. Yeah, I'm saying that name right because he actually has a pretty decent showing on this here. Him and Nagata kind of work some psychology. Yujiro does a lot of working on the chest, doing some blows to the chest. He takes Nagata to the outside, and he kind of leaves him there so Cody Hall can beat him up and hit him in the chest. Then Yujiro, throws him into the barricade, throws him into the apron chest first, so that Nagata's chest is starting to feel the pain. He goes in, hits a rib breaker. He continues the body shots. All this stuff just keeps working on those ribs and the chest area of Nagata. At one point, Nagata can't lift up Yujiro for a suplex because his chest hurts too much. And I'm sort of interested. The crowd kind of got involved a little bit when they had a good exchange of elbows at one point, but they're still not into much of Yujiro's offense, especially because you're thinking Yujiro's going to lose because that's a lot of what he does in these matches. Nagata has some nice counters. He blocks the Tokyo pinch with an exploder in the corner. He has a nice belly-to-belly suplex. Yujiro does get to do a low blow while he pushes the referee away, and he almost gets a near fall. Then he turns around and does a Miami Shine quickly out of that so that Nagata doesn't have a chance to kind of get out of that. And Yujiro gets his first 2 points of the tournament right there. So Yujiro with 2 points now. Nagata still stuck at 2 points. I thought this was some smart, working smart, nice story going on with the psychology. Psychology is going to be a big theme for the rest of these matches here. So then we have our first really good match, Hiroki Goto against Tomoaki Hanma. Again, man, Hanma has been delivering in this tournament. Every match he's in has been terrific. Goto has not had that great of a tournament, and this is his first match where you finally get him looking like an IC champion, Hiroki Goto. Hiroki Goto kind of works on the neck towards the beginning. After Hanma tries to doing his Kokeshi really too early. Chin lock, head scissors by Goto. They trade blows for what seems like forever. Just a bunch of elbows, and it just builds and builds and builds. Awesome stuff. The crowd finally gets up for it. Eventually, Hanma blocks the last one and does a deadlift suplex, which really gets the crowd into it there. He does his usual kind of comeback elbow in the corner, all that stuff, and hits Kokeshi. Then pulls Goto to the middle of the ring for a single leg crab spot, and Goto really has to, he shows on his face that he's like, oh my god, I made it to the ropes, I'm exasperated, holy crap, I'm making it. And then he gets his little comeback where he ends it with a backdrop suplex. We get Hanma going nuts to Kokeshi. He does a rocket Kokeshi to break a lariat. Then he does one to Goto's back because that's also what Hanma had kind of done at the beginning. He worked Goto's back, so we had that going on. He goes to the top rope for a top rope Kokeshi and he misses though. Goto with a lariat, then an Arushi Karoshi. Hanma, he goes for another lariat. He goes for the Shouting Kai and Hanma rolls him up for a 2 count that makes the crowd bite hard. Hanma blocks another lariat, but then Goto hits a lariat again, Shouting Kai. Hellacious match, something you should go watch. Definitely recommend it. A lot of elbows and stiff stuff going on with these two. Clotheslines that look like somebody's going to break their neck. Just nasty stuff. Really enjoyed this. Like I said, makes Goto look strong, makes Hanma look strong, and things continue here to look great for these two. Really, really enjoyed everything going on with this. So we move on. Again, because Nakamura's on here, we only have 8 matches on the show instead of 9. You have your IWGP Tag Champion, Carl Anderson, against Tomohiro Ishii. What, to me, was the best match on the show. These two had a counterfest at the beginning of the sliding clothesline and the brainbuster and the gun stun, and Anderson did his typical stuff at the beginning where they go outside and he tries to get Ishii down for a while. Ishii actually blocks it, slams his head into the ring apron. Then they get on top of the apron. They exchange blows on the apron, which is pretty cool. And then Anderson comes in and hits a jumping kick that knocks Ishii down. He comes in at 11. Anderson tries to go again for that where he knocks him over. And he eventually does, but then Red Shoes won't count for a while, so Ishii kind of comes in at the kind of 8 instead. Kind of going again with that little Bullet Club against Red Shoes storyline. I love it. Ishii, man, when he was worked over a lot here with the neck. I mean, this was the main focus of Anderson, has been his last 2 matches, but this one was more entertaining because Ishii kind of got comebacks here and there. He got to trade blows with him. He got a Desperation Power Slam, a Desperation German Suplex. That kind of just built the tension because then, aside from working on the neck, too, you had Anderson just hitting him, slapping him, and just stomping his head. Just that little mocking, taunting, slapping, and kicking of the head that Anderson does sometimes. Telling the crowd to chant Ishii, do you hear him, Ishii? All that stuff. Just totally just ragging on the guy while he beats him up. At one point, we had this really nice storytelling moment where you have Anderson go for the gun stun, and Ishii just falls down in a heap because his neck is hurting so bad, his shoulder's hurting so bad. Ishii is really one of the best sellers in New Japan, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for that sometimes. So after this, we have Anderson continuing to taunt Ishii, whatever. Ishii gets out of the corner, just blasts him with a lariat. And then we get a really good counterfest again at the end, going for the brainbuster, going for the sliding thing. Eventually, we get the TKO gun stun for the near fall. Anderson makes one mistake, which is headbutting Ishii. Ishii freaking whacks him with a headbutt. We get the seated clothesline. We get the brainbuster. It's over. Ishii wins 6 points. Standout match of this show. Best match of the tournament from both guys. Love the psychology with the neck. The entire match, just building and building. Great stuff. I really, really enjoyed this. I think this is the match you have to go see out of this show. Okada, Kojima, your main event. This is one of those that felt epic to feel epic. They had a lot of times where Okada and Kojima were down, obviously killing some time. I think that they knew that I think the feeling was you weren't going to work a long match like this, but they kind of have work a longer match. Okada got his handman's DDT early on the barricade. We didn't get to see Kojima do his big three, machine gun chops, elbow, and elbow in one motion as Okada blocked the machine gun chops, and I don't think Kojima even got those in this match. He got a few chops in, but not the machine gun ones. He did get a cutter. He got to hit a brainbuster. He got a super cutter. He finally did get to do the Ichiban whatever elbow, but only got 2. Okada got his elbow in there for 2 as well. Kojima got to block the tombstone. He ducked the Rainmaker one time, and then Okada was right there for the fireman's carry. He did block the drop kick as well. He tried one more time for the lariat as Okada was setting him up for the Rainmaker, but Okada grabbed the other arm and put him in there for the Rainmaker. It was over. Like I said, it was had the feeling of trying to be epic, but it didn't get to that. The Hanma match he had was much better. The match with Elgin, I thought, was better than this. Ishii's match with Ishii's match with, or not Ishii, Kojima's match with Elgin was better than this. I definitely think it's one of the weaker main events of the whole tournament. Overall, though, solid wrestling the entire night. Might have been the best night as far as solid wrestling, bell to bell, undercard included. There wasn't a bad match on this show. Go back and watch Goto versus Hanma. Go back and watch Ishii versus Anderson. Definitely recommend those two. I'm not doing that great in the pick'em still, as I have said many times. We added a couple wins here and there. With I think Paul's 21-9 now. I am 18-12. Not doing that hot. Paul's still doing much better than me, but also everybody got a loss because of the Nakamura. Pretty much, I don't think anybody had picked Elgin to beat Nakamura on that show. Let's run through the card for tomorrow really quick. You've got Máscara Dorada and Tiger Mask against Jay White and David Finlay. No Liger on that one. That's kind of different. Yohei Komatsu, Ryusuke Taguchi, Satoshi Kojima against Yuji Nagata, Cody Hall, Tama Tonga. Oh, it's Satoshi Kojima, Ryusuke Taguchi, Yohei Komatsu, and Yuji Nagata against Cody Hall, Tama Tonga, Yujiro Takahashi, and Carl Anderson. All with the Bullet Club. Big time, major Bullet Club 8-man there against a few guys. I think it's Kojima. Is it Kojima and... Yeah, Kojima. It's Kojima and Yujiro and Yuji Nagata against Carl Anderson. So that's why you have that. Captain New Japan, Tomoaki Hama, Michael Elgin and versus Yoshihashi, Tomohiro Ishii, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's see if he's left off of... He's probably going to be left off of this show, too. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, he's probably not working that 6-man, so that'll get switched around. Jushin Liger and Hiroki Goto against Gedo and Kazuchika Okada. That'll be interesting. We get the Intercontinental title against the IWGP champion facing off here. I'm going to be excited to see that tag match. Toru Yano against Doc Gallows. It's your first G1 match. Should be interesting. Doc Gallows he was not happy. He was yelling obscenities at Yano during a little exchange in the tag match earlier on this show. Togi Makabe against Hiroshi Tenzan should be a slugfest. This will be interesting to see who gets the win on this one. Katsuyori Shibata against Kota Ibushi should be an awesome, awesome match. Again, the last 3 on this show is going to be interesting. Hiroshi Tanahashi against Bad Luck Fale. Yeah, may not be that great, but if anybody can get something good out of Fale, I think Tanahashi could be that guy. He's delivered in every match he's had so far in the tournament. Tetsuya Naito against AJ Styles. That's happening as the main event. Should be fantastic because Naito's in that I don't care. AJ Styles is also a heel. This is going to be interesting to see how the crowd reacts to this. It's probably going to be one of those where they don't know what to do. But it's going to be really cool to see how Naito gets through this one. And if this is going to be AJ's second loss or if AJ's going to win here. So, all right, that does it for our G1 Climax discussion for Night 6. Like I said, tomorrow, Night 7 in Fukuoka will be the scene. I'm off on Wednesday, not going to work on Wednesday, so I'll probably be able to have this one up a little earlier, talking about Night 7. And then they take a 2-day break, and they come back on Saturday for 2 more shows. So, all right, until Night 7, till tomorrow, hope you enjoyed this, and hope you let everybody know on iTunes and Stitcher, review, subscribe, do all that stuff. Later, everybody.
Thank you.